we're gonna sit here and go through this show. What y'all think about the show? Good show? Bad show? Good show?
I liked it. It did not suck. I will say that much.
No suckage. Over here, boy. Good show? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
There's your first edit, man. No, it was a good show. It was a really good show, man.
it,
It was a
it
lot of fun.
seemed to me that the some of the matches ran over and they were trying to hurry up really really quick, and so I don't know, you seen the same thing that I did. It looked like they were trying to just kind of push the show along. So we'll begin starting off with the the free buy-in match, which was Nyla Rose, Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa in the tag team match. Um, it was all right. I liked it. I mean, there was some. I mean, it's a general women's match. I mean, what do you guys take on this buy-in match?
It was
Uh,
rather basic.
man,
Period.
we just
Basic.
li- we just literally talked about women's wrestling the other day, calling it basic, and we're still doing it now. Come on now, no, but
R-
seriously, the it was a good match for what it was. At the same time, the buy-in, my idea behind that would be, okay, if I wasn't already vested in watching your show, I needed to see something that was going to get me, and like, oh, I got to keep watching this. It's
Mhm.
going to be hype. And the match wasn't not hype. It's just like, they're trying to really push these ladies, and especially like Thunder Rosa, and they're getting in this match, and the finish to it was kind of like awkward. And I don't know if it was just like a botch or how it went, but like, it was like a head scissors reversal, and it's supposed to have been something else a little bit more detailed. But you had Sheeta doing something like that to Nyla Rose, and she's not going to take those little flip bumps and stuff like that. So I think they could have done
Mhm.
better, but I mean, it was all right for what it was.
I mean, it got time. That's one of the things that we talked about before, that women's matches didn't get time, and this match got time.
And a hell of
It
time.
it was set up for the TBS tournament. Like these two teams were individually split up for the folks in the tournament that they have. So I guess that's what they were trying to push. But like we said, it was just kind of by the numbers. It did look a little botchy at the end, but I guess it did what it needed to do for. I will say that before the buy-in started, they did have a segment with Dante Martin, um, which we talked about diversity before, and so this I guess this is a way to open up with diversity. Dante Martin is from Minneapolis, so they had him come out, and of course he had that Taz Team Taz offer, and then the Acclaim came out and did a rap and essentially offered him a place with um, the the Acclaim because Leo Rush is out because his grandmother passed. So, anything about this segment? I just wanted to
Other than the
mention.
fact that one day I hope to God I get to see that guy and Ricochet go against each other because his springs are insane. He reminds me a lot of like Two Cold Scorpio back in the day when he was just like leaping over everything and everywhere. So I'd love to see that match.
Yeah, I wonder if he's stick man like Too Cold Scorpio was though. Yo, baby.
I'm just wondering. And oh, last thing on the pre-show was the fact that they announced it later on in the show, but they did an interview with um the new members of Chaos, which was Chris Statlander, Orange Cassidy, um uh what's it, Yuta? That's the kid's name, right? Yuta.
I think so.
Okay, help me out here, guys. I'm like,
I don't remember. That's why I'm like that one name I
Willer
couldn't.
Yuta. Willer
No,
Yuta.
no, brother. You gonna die on that when you're on.
Willer Yuta is his name. So, and Chuck Taylor, they were being interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and for Wednesday on Dynamite, Orange Cassidy had brought up the fact that since he's in this new faction, which he couldn't remember the name of at first, like I couldn't remember the name of Willer Yuta, he then they were told him it was chaos, and he said, "Well, I guess I'll get my dog to come and join me," which kind of hinted to Ishii, which they did announce later on in the main show. So it will be
Stone
Orange Cassidy,
Pitbull, baby.
Ishii.
Stone Pitbull. Hope somebody gets the brain buster because I hate all of them.
So we'll have that to look forward to on Wednesday, but we'll move right into the main show. So, and I will begin with Hogs War's take on it because he mentioned that this is his favorite match on the entire card, which the
Mhm.
show started out with Darby Allin versus MJF. So I'm gonna just hand it right on over to you, Hogs Wars.
Yeah, because first off, I really didn't think it was going to be that great a match. I thought it was just going to be the usual first match where it's okay and everybody gets into it to get you started. But somebody else ends up stealing the show, and they slick stole the show in the first match. Like MJF coming out there like a fake Macho Man Ric Flair wannabe, and then Darby Allin coming out there and having this freaking wreck that made everybody laugh. Where he had
Yeah, that's
some
great.
random person with a picture of MJF stuck on his face. Like, what kind of darn purge video is I'm watching? But
Again, it's part of Darby Allin's school videos that he makes
I
for
know it's
art
his
school.
thing, but it's like right, because I swear to God, it felt like I just dropped into an old Bray Wyatt video and got stuck in it was Darby Allin instead. Like, no, bro,
Yep,
come on.
my man
But
rolled that
then,
car and then threw the firebomb in on that boy.
right, like, you a little late with the fire. Should have wait for that. But then they go from that to both guys coming out to pretty, decent pops and stuff like that. And then for the first 5 minutes in a match that literally didn't make any sense to be this way, they had chain wrestled for the first 5 minutes, and not only just chain wrestled, it was damn good chain wrestling. It was consistent. It was that stuff you would see when you see like Shawn Michaels and like somebody like Ric Flair, somebody just all of a sudden deciding we're gonna just do this for the first 5 minutes, and it would get stupid afterwards. And it just kept rolling and it kept rolling. And then each time you thought, yeah, we might get a little further, he went back to that little move he was trying to say he was gonna beat him with a little overhead little slam, and he did it like 3 times, and each time he would reverse it like instantly and just keep rolling. And I'm like, damn.
I think he
So
was looking for a headlock there, my man.
that's what it was, and I couldn't think of the word for save my life, but it was just funny because he kept doing it over and over again. I'm like, wow. I said, for somebody that's trying this hard, I guess we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But then to keep setting it up that way, including all these random spots like the coffin drop off the top on the outside, which was nuts, and then getting to the point where MJF had did the darn tombstone power driver on the side of the ring, and I was waiting just like Yellow Boy was saying earlier, like I was just waiting on somebody to say that's the hardest part of the ring. How is he doing that? How dare he? And nobody ever did, which was like, thank God you haven't fallen to the trap yet. But it was just a great match, and then it's like to go from seeing so many spot fests almost every time we watch a AEW match to going to two guys who are part of that kind of off and on spot fest and doing a wrestling match. Two of what's called it can't beat that, especially when you thought it was going to do worse, and it kept getting better, and the false finishes were ridiculous
Oh
on there.
yeah, they were real good.
Heck, they even had the classic Ric Flair spot with what's called doing MJF having to turn Darby over from a damn finger four. I mean, and then he kept selling it, so it was just like it kept working into the whole match, which is great.
Wait, what move was that?
Finger four leg lock.
A figure four?
You blow up my man, dude. That's effed up.
I'm
Hey,
glad you're enjoying.
y'all left me on a cliff by myself with trying to help me out with Willie Udis. The psychology of this match. Like this match, MJF ended up making a statement that he could win this match with a side headlock. Like he could beat Darby Allin with a side headlock. And the finish to this match was a distraction finish where he pulls out the dynamite diamond ring from out of his trunks and nails that's MJF nailing Darby Allin with it. And then after hitting him with it, getting him in a side headlock. and pinning them 1, 2, 3 for the pin. So,
Mhm.
and we all said that this match was a match that MJF needed to win, right?
Yes, terribly.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
lost.
mean,
He's lost entirely too much like big show matches. So
Right.
he needed this. And like we were saying when we were watching the show together, Darby's not going to have lost anything by losing this match, man. Like, because people still get behind him for the same reason why they get behind him. So
right.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it. Like I said, this may have been the best match on the show because of, granted, the stakes weren't big, and like you said, no one lost anything. Like Darby didn't lose anything by losing, and uh, MJF did gain something as far as his credibility and such like that on the show, but it wasn't major wins or losses for
Right.
anybody with this match. Which leads us into the next match, talking about FTR and the Lucha Bros in the AEW Tag Team Title match for AEW Full Gear.
man, okay, so I'm getting more increasingly interested in the Lucha Brothers like entrances because they do little hype entrances. Um,
Mhm.
And they came out there and they got that unity. They look like a tag team. Not to say FTR didn't, because they also had the same, stuff on. But a lot of the times they put tag teams together, and it's like these two dudes don't look like they're a tag team. But they came in, they had all that, they were decked out and all that camo stuff. It was fire, man. Then, like I said, you went into the match. There were a lot of high spots in here, and then like the
Yeah.
FTR is tremendous. Like
Yes.
Mhm.
that match proves to me they're able to work with anybody. They can
Mhm.
work with people that have like a slower style. They can work with people that have like a higher, faster paced style, like the Lucha Bros. So I was just, to me, the match was hype. It wasn't, oh my God, jumping out of the seat, but there were a few spots in there I popped for, like the spot pile driver. I just like pile
Yeah.
drivers, and it's always a move that makes me pop. So when they hit that spot pile driver on him, FTR did, I was like, oh, here it is, this is it. And then they came back in there and hit their own double team, and I mean, it is what it was. There was a swerve towards the end of it, and the swerve backfired. So
Right.
I'll let one of y'all pick up on it and go.
Alex Wars, you want to talk about the swerve?
Yeah, when all of a sudden they decided we're gonna try to go back to that green lucha mask, and sorry, but it didn't work this time. But it's still like, and I wonder sometimes if that was part of a botch too, how it ended, because it's like they wanted it to work, but it didn't work. So it's like, it ended the way the match should ended with Lucha Brothers winning, but it's like, I guess it just wasn't spectacular, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It was kind of just like it was an FTR little match where they kill the guys in the beginning. They sell hard, so it looks like they're about to die the whole match, and then in the same token, do something goofy at the end that ends up making them lose the match when they were probably more into it than they had at first. So
I
it
think
worked.
a I think AEW has a good problem on its hands because fan expectations, just listening to us talk right now, fan
Hmm.
expectation has been lifted. Like it's really high. The
Yeah.
fan expectation. So like when we don't get this super high risk match with a bunch of stakes and such, and it's what would be possibly a 5-star match in other promotions.
Hmm.
We look at it and it was just subpar. It was a 3 if we had to rate it, you know. And I think that's a good problem for AEW to have.
You know,
Yeah, but
you got to
what?
think the Young Bucks when they first started AEW, everybody knew they were a great tag team, but they realized the hard way that until everybody else got at least close to their level, them winning everything was just gonna keep making everybody else stay down. So they had to try to build other teams up to finally look like, hey, we are the best team because we are, but we also got all these other guys we got to go through so you can see how good we are. And I think it's a great problem to have teams this good that you're actually saying the match is just basic compared to what they usually do. But in the same token, if every match they have is going to be, you think it's going to be the greatest thing ever, it's hard to keep following that up the same way. It's like the other problem I do have with them. Every match doesn't have to be an on fire match where everything's going to go, to hell, and everything is a complete spot fest for 20 goddamn minutes to the point where you see 30 false finishes and you're trying to keep up with what's going on. It's great in spots, but if every match is like that all the time, you're gonna get burnt out eventually. That's why it's great to have an FTR who can go back old school on somebody and give you a little different here and there. But like like you both said, we just need more teams that can at least be interesting enough that we can like. They should be in the title picture.
And I think, and AEW has historically in its 2 years has showed us that they can book and they will book things. I mean, given some time, and that they will listen to critique. So
Hmm.
hopefully they're going to build some tag teams over time, so that the tag teams think, because in contrast to other promotions, I'm gonna just continue to say other promotions and not necessarily name them out. AEW is tag team oriented, whereas another promotion
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily like tag teams. So and
WWE.
and we I didn't say it, but there
NXT.
are there are some tag teams that are being built, and I heard this said on like Fightful and Wrestle Talk and Cultaholic and all these other places. The thing with AEW is that they presume that their fan base watches all of their material, and unfortunately, the
Hmm.
fan base doesn't watch all the material. Next match that popped in, again, it was what I thought it would be. I mean, it's Miro versus Brian Danielson, and this
Hmm.
was the contenders match, the world title eliminator tournament, to the finals to see who would face the new AEW or current AEW champion. Um, like I said, it was what I thought it would be. It was some licks, some hard hits. It slowed down the pace a little bit, because the first two matches I think were very like frantic. They had frantic pacing and such
Hmm.
like that. And this match just slowed it down a bit. And I do like that about AEW, where AEW, if you look at how they set up their matches, each one of their matches has something completely different. It's not the same kind of structure of match. Again, technical match, focusing on body parts. I mean, you got a match with Brian Danielson. Obviously, it's going to be something where it's technical. It's going to be
Hmm.
focused on body parts. It's
Gonna
what's
be
that?
stiff.
What's that phrase that Over Here Boy likes to say all the time? Where Brian Danielson, he does a lot. He'll get down, and I'm not going to steal your catchphrase, so I'll let you say what he was doing at points in the match. What was he doing? Over Here Boy?
You talking about stretching?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I knew that's what it was. That's a dramatic pause right there. I was waiting. I'm gonna stretch him.
Building to crescendo, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. And that's what she said.
There it
But
was. We've already went off the rails here, guys.
all
Sorry,
right.
not really, man. I really thought it went about as well as I thought the match between the two of them would go. I still, it's kind of bad because they put these two competitors together. You know, they met because of the tournament, and you knew in going into this, like it would have been a swerve to have Miro win it. But
Mhm.
not to take anything away from him, he's come a long way from when they first came in when he first came in from the other place
Oh yes.
on how he was being booked and everything. Because when he came in, I was like, man, like they did a complete 180 on him. I was expecting him to come in and start
Mhm.
stretching people and beating ass, and that didn't happen. And then something changed. He won that TNT title, and he bent Darby Allin back like a paperclip in that one match. And then I said, yes, this is what I needed out of this guy. But he comes in here. The only thing I thought was like probably the coolest part of the whole match. I mean, there was a lot of good little spots. Is where Miro was like, "Go on and kick me right here, baby." He's like, like Daniel
Mhm.
Bryan's or Brian Danielson or American Dragon or whatever you want to call him.
That guy.
That guy,
Mhm.
he was giving him the stiffest kicks and he was taking them. And then he would turn around and return one kick for every one of Danielson's three, boy. It's plakow. And I mean, he would crumple him on the ground. So that was just a good little story right
Mhm.
there. But other than that, man, the match went exactly like I thought. It got down there to the end to the brass tacks, as the old cliche went, and Brian Danielson went on to be the victor, and now we're going to see how it's going to play out. Obviously he's going to go on to face. That's right. You're going to have to wait to see the rest of the time, baby, unless you got Twitter and all that other stuff. But we don't talk about that.
That leads into the tag team match with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. This was a Falls Count Anywhere match, no DQ. So it was Bedlam, and of course
Mm-hmm.
the oh my gosh. Hopefully on the YouTube feed we'll post some pictures of it. But if you didn't see it, the ridiculousness of the Young Bucks and these, I don't know, fuchsia, purple, whatever color outfits, and then Nick Jackson had his beard colored, or his mustache, the handlebar part colored the same exact way, and Brandon Cutler comes out with his um, outfit, the same color velour outfit
Mm-hmm.
with his cold spray now also painted in that color for his cold spray. So, and I forget if somebody can remember, please let me, please say it. JR made a statement about it, saying something about Bret Hart, and I cannot for the life of me remember the comment that JR made about them coming in. The slobber knocker. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he did say something, man. It was like it looks like a Bret Hart a convention or something like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I popped for that, but at the same time, like, come on, man, you old squirrely ass old dude.
Talk about spot fest. I mean, we're talking about the Young Bucks, so there's obviously going to be spot
Right.
fest in this,
Guaranteed.
but not necessarily all from the Bucks. Jungle Boy, or as JR would say, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, because he always gonna call the man Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He's not just gonna say Jungle Boy; he's gonna say Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Um, but just step up Rhinos, and I mean dropping elbows. It was a lot of spots. I think this match was really fun. However, Hogs Wars, I think you made the comment that maybe it was a little bit too long for a match.
And I want to say it because I mean I said that comment at least 3 times during the damn show, but so it wasn't just them. But I think my thing about it is we seen so many good spot matches from them, and I mean both teams have literally done this to each other so much. You kind of waiting on it.
Yeah.
My only problem is just they started getting to that WWE territory where pay per views a little long now. That's the only thing. It's like I know y'all said it a couple times where it's just like, man, how long are we gonna be on this damn show? When are we gonna get to the end? So that's all I'm really saying.
OHB, what you got?
Huh?
You got nothing.
No, I've
Right.
got all kinds of things, man. So to kind of piggyback on what he was talking about, man, with a lot of the we talked about it a little bit earlier too, man. And I'm going to use New Japan because that's probably the most prominent
Hmm.
thing for this. But there's just so many people getting dropped on their heads. Not, I mean, theoretically or whatever, that they were just getting right up from it. There was no like sell period, and I know that probably had a lot to do with the hurry up. Plus, there was just
Mhm.
all kinds of crazy stuff happening all over the place. I mean, there was one spot where Christian Cage climbed up to the top of the things, and it like they zoomed out, and it was like old school ECW, and then he dove off onto some dudes, and then you had I mean Luchasaurus. I mean, he had a tremendous spot right at the end of everything, to where
Right.
everybody that wasn't involved with the finish was just out and about off the entrance ramp, and then he looks at him and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this," and then he catches and hits him with a standing shooting star press and lands on everybody down there and just takes
Hmm.
them down to to the effect where Jungle Boy looks and he mouths, "Oh, holy sh!" and then he looked, and then the rest of the match. But dude,
ramp and they're doing things on the entrance ramp. Then you had the spot where the the super click put on these knee braces that had tacks, thumbtacks in
Mhm.
them and such, and they did the three-way BTE trigger on Luchasaurus, and that was what caused the wasn't it a false finish?
Mhm.
I think that was a false finish. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was it was a false
yeah,
finish
it
for
was
it,
it
but
was because you know why I know it was.
why's that?
You know why I know it was because
Because
where did Jungle Boy come from? And I was like,
right.
bro,
You
I was like, Jungle Boy was 5 foot to the back of him. Ain't you watching
That's
the same
right.
thing I'm watching? Yeah.
uh-huh.
So it was a false finish that triple knee, but it was still fire.
Yeah, like it had a lot of different spots. I mean, at the end of the day, was it was a concerto from
Mhm.
Jungle Boy, a solo concerto because Christian
Right.
Cage was going to set up. I think it was Matt Jackson for the
Yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
concerto,
it was Matt.
but because of what happened on Wednesday during Dynamite, where Jungle Boy received a concerto, Jungle Boy pushed Christian to the side and said, "I got this." Took him a breath and slapped the shiznit
Yeah.
out of Matt Jackson
Man,
for
he
the
gave
single
boy.
man concerto for the
Cla-
one, two, three.
I
clap
felt
them
for dude's
cheeks.
soul when that hit. I was like,
So I think the right team won on this. The right
mm-hmm.
people won for this or
But I
whatnot.
give Alvin Cole all the love in the world because that some is Jesus.
Who?
Adam
Adam.
Cole,
Oh,
baby.
I thought you said
So
Alvin Cole. I was like, wait a minute, dude.
That's his brother. Next match, it was a tag team matchup. It was the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and the Bastard Pack versus Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black.
oh, Snorfest,
I,
sorry.
I I was not. This is a match that I wasn't looking forward to. Like it was there. Cody still is Homelander to me, and I ain't even watched the show. Like
Cody
you
got that
know,
go away. He's got that John Cena go away heat with me right now, and I
With
think he knows
everybody.
it. Like you were saying that Yellow Boy. He said, yeah, he knows that people are booing him for a reason, but he won't ever turn heel. Try to keep his dad's legacy. But I think it's going to be one of those things that'd be an interesting turn of events for him to kind of be a heel that doesn't believe he's a heel, and
yeah.
he goes out there and does heel stuff, but then thinks it's for the
Mm-hmm.
greater good. So that could be a very
Mm-hmm.
interesting dynamic for him to roll with.
Because they keep booking him to where like they want the crowd to cheer for him, or at least his. I think it's his own booking. He's trying to book himself to where he wants the crowd to cheer for him. But I think the crowd. It may not be that they dislike him. I think they just enjoy booing him
Booing
more
him
than cheering him. I
the
think
same
that's
way people fell in love with singing "You Suck" a Kurt Angle song, or when
right.
John Cena come in, John Cena suck. When they were the main ones, every time John Cena came and did anything, was doing this the whole goddamn time. So people change over time, but I know 90% of the time he was getting booed at first. It's because they hated Brandy so goddamn much.
Like I think he is like Cody. He does understand. He knows. There's no way he doesn't know that, the crowd is booing him and they're booing him for a reason. And maybe it is he's getting the Kurt Angle effect. I mean, we did see in Miami when Dynamite went to Miami that the crowd actually cheered for him in Miami.
Hmm.
But elsewhere, I think the crowd just enjoys to boo him more. And the fact that he leads the crowd on to boo him by saying statements that I will never turn heel, that only just incites
Makes
the
people want to hurt you
fans.
more.
Yeah, they're just gonna boo you more because you're like, I'm never gonna turn heel. So clearly somebody's not always gonna stay babyface. I mean, that's that John Cena, like over here boy said, that's that John Cena stuff where I'm never gonna turn heel. So,
You know, you were a
but
heel originally, so hey.
but I mean, I'm gonna give it to the performers. I mean, great performances. You had the
And
yeah.
I'm gonna interject real quick. As far as this match goes, like I just want to give props to Pac, man, because he was the workhorse of the whole entire
Mhm.
thing. I wouldn't say he carried the match because Elidolo did a tremendous amount of offense too. Malachi Black came in there for a few things. Cody came in there for a few things, and then like Malachi Black blasted Cody Rhodes with a. I
God,
mean,
yes.
Cody Rhodes sells that whatever they call it black mass kick. He sold it in this
Mhm.
match, and he was outside for a real long time. And then there was also that random bit where Glock Anderson came out, and I don't know what happened, and
Yeah.
they just left the ring. Like I was like, well, is this going somewhere? No, it didn't. And he even did the little gun thing. He's like, I'm Glock
Yeah,
Anderson,
just kept
bitch.
beating dude up.
like I'm the enforcer of the Cracker Barrel. He was out, dude, just like that. But anyway, that's all
Or
I got to say about this.
Alita Lowe's personal assistant. He was doing that motion to Jose, I believe his name is, the
Yeah, he
personal
started whooping
assistant
dude
to
tail.
Alita Lowe. He was giving him some potatoes, some very soft potatoes to the head and face, and sent him on up the or the entrance ramp. Um, but
But
yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, over here, boy.
no, man, I didn't mean to interject on
Mm-mm.
this point, but as far as this match goes, man, in the whole card, I would easily vote this the weakest. I mean, like that's my opinion. Y'all don't got to agree with it, but like of all
Right.
the matches that were on this card, that one to me was the weakest. And to be fair, should have been the palate cleanser and not the one that we got. But having said that, we can
Yeah.
continue.
I think what really did in Cody Rhodes was that whole program that he did with Anthony Agogo. That really killed him. That whole program he did with Anthony Agogo, and he became pro America, and then he started
Oh
talking
yeah.
about his daughter, that his unborn daughter and stuff, and how she's gonna be black and white and Cuban, and and it wasn't. It's like in his own pocket reality. It wasn't the whole promo and the idea wasn't in, and like a lot of people were getting behind Anthony Agogo, and they thought that Anthony Agogo should have got the win because of the fact that Anthony Agogo was an upcoming. He's in the Nightmare Family, or at the training center at least, for the Nightmare Family, and he should have went over. And I think that's part of the start of the booze for Cody, because he ends up, and the Wrestle Talk boys call him, or say that he's in his own Codyverse, his own universe. So they call it the Codyverse,
And
where
that's
he's
what's so
at.
weird, man. Like I know we're off the rails right now on this,
Yeah.
but like Cody was over for the most part when he was the TNT champion because he had that
Yes.
open challenge, and
Mhm.
they were bringing in all these other independent people a lot of the times that like Warhorse.
Mhm.
Warhorse will never
Yes.
be. His stuff does not work on mainstream TV. They could not ever bring him over to AEW and him still retain the kind of stuff he was doing on the indies. But at the same time, that was one of the things that was keeping Cody over, And then this thing, like you said, I can't disagree with what you were saying with that because he came up and said this, this, and this, and you're like, okay, so you're overshadowing this other dude, and he didn't go over. So people are like the smart
Mhm.
fans or the marks or smarts or whatever you want to call
You're
them are like,
right.
okay, this is garbage, and then he's got to do something big in my eyes to recover from that. But anyway, if you want to skip on, you can, because I'm
Yeah.
tired of talking about
Mhm.
Yeah.
it.
So the next match, another title match, was for the AEW Women's World Championship. It was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD,
Indeed.
versus Ty Conti. Um, hey, look, WWE gave up too quickly on Ty Conti. Ty
Mhm.
Conti went from barely being on NXT programming to being released by WWE to main eventing or being on the top card for AEW with at a little to the same experience in both promotions.
Yo,
Like WWE didn't know what to do with. She's believe it's a um, Brazilian. jujitsu is
Yeah,
that she's trained in
like jiu-jitsu,
Brazilian jiu.
judoka.
in
Yeah,
judo too.
yeah.
And so they didn't know how to blend that with the WWE style, I guess. And they just kind of gave up. Oh, we don't know what to do with her.
But
And
they bring in Ronda Rousey. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, no,
Right, the
you're
same
right.
damn thing. The
You
same
know,
damn thing.
and she gets on, and she's over. She's over like Rover on television, and she blends it well. Anyway, with this match, I mean, I enjoyed it. Of course, Britt Baker, DMD, comes along with Rebel, not Reba, and Jamie Hayter. She brings those two along with her to the ring. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I think I wrote down a couple of notes. Um, the guitarist from Fozzy played Britt Baker down. We joked because of the fact that we said,
Mhm.
"Who is it?" I believe it
Rick
was Over Here
Boogs.
Boy said, "Yeah,
Yep, Rick
it's,
Boogs.
this was
Is,
Shinsuke
is this
Nakamura with Rick
Nakamura?
Boogs, right, coming out to the ring, playing the guitar." And the one thing that there was a lot, and we haven't said this yet, but we alluded to it. There was a lot of apron stuff on this show. Like I think
Mhm.
Hogs War said something about the apron, and glad that they didn't say it was the hardest part of the ring. But what I'm saying was that there was an air raid crash that Britt Baker did to Ty Conti on that apron, and it looked super brutal. Like
Mhm.
I liked it. And again, this women's match got time. And we talked about it on our show that we did last week that the women needed time, and this match got a lot of
Mhm.
time. Hog
You,
Wars.
I don't mean to interrupt real quick, but you remember what I said though? You just got through saying about the air raid crash. As soon as she hit that, I
Yeah.
said, "Remember what I said?" I said, "Why are y'all taking these bumps right now?" I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
you
"Dude,
said
there's
unnecessarily.
unnecessary bumps." But anyway, over to my man Hogs Wars about this. Tell us what you do.
Well, at the moment, I laugh at you. You're so silly,
Hey,
bro.
That's what he
I
does.
told you. I already told I already told Yellow Boy that I'm gonna be popping y'all the whole time. So you better get ready for this,
Y'all
dude.
get ready.
Yo, I did say it.
I feel like I'm being set up by a pimp right now. They go out there and get on, get that troll, baby.
Get on out there and make that money. You
I'm
better
telling you,
make that money, Hogs
make
Wars.
Daddy proud.
Yes.
But
You better get out there and
anyway,
make that sausage.
Get that sausage money, player.
actually, I do agree with both of y'all. There was no need for the excess of constant on the apron slams on people, or even even the opponent was like jumping off of everything and then landing on the side of the ring against everybody. I'm like, she needed to get free, but in the end, it didn't help her. She still ended up getting done in. So, but I give Britt Baker a lot of credit because when she first, got really big and she was trying to be all, happy go lucky and babyface, something in her just seemed like she was like, yeah, she green, but she was beyond green. She looked like she was lost. Now all of a sudden, she's great. Not only that, but you can tell her ring work is better. Her work rate is a whole lot better, and it made this match because no, I didn't necessarily agree how it started, but that's you know psychology. It's not supposed to be the way I want it. It's supposed to be the way it's entertaining and makes people care. And she did a good job of giving that girl a chance to get in the match, get her sea legs together. So when she took over and came from under, hey, the, she looked like a superstar at the end, and she looked like she was this close to winning. Especially when she reversed her move so many goddamn times, the lockjaw like 3 times. It made it look more like okay, she does know judo. She does know what she's doing. Maybe she can get out something. So when she finally had to take that L in a different way, you were like, wow, great match, good job. So, but
Man, this was a very good match. Like I was like, okay, like this is high up in the card. Like the build ups. The only problem I have for the build up for Britt Baker's matches is that they're very short lived. Like the last match she had was on TV with Abaddon, which was pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But it always comes back down for her wins to the number game. It's always Rebel, not Reba. and Hater that always do something to make it to where she wins the match. But having said that, that wasn't the case this time. They did interfere, but
Hmm.
I mean, Conti hit her with some moves out of like some stuff that I was like, oh, okay, this is they were good. She even hit her little namesake move, DDT. Okay, but she hit her with one thing that I thought was kind of cool. She had her like bridged over her back at one point in time, like Orton does with his backbreaker, and spun her around into almost like a rock bottom slam on the outside. I thought I was like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, this is pretty good. But when they got in the match for the finish, Britt Baker, had the glove on, was going to go try to get her in the lockjaw or whatever. Could not. So I could see them continuing this angle because she's like, well, I didn't get to submit her. Like I had to pin her because she got out of my stuff every single time.
CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. This was a match that I was anticipating,
Yeah.
and I think us and everybody else was anticipating with this match. And because this
Hmm.
has some realism to it, it just definitely you get more invested into the storyline. But Hogs Wars, what you think about this match?
Damn good match. And I mean, the funny part is it was one of the shorter matches of the during night. That's what's so hilarious about it.
Yeah,
But when they came together, CM Punk didn't do all this his clobbering time and all this other stuff. Eddie didn't walk through the crowd trying to be cool and all this. They both came in ready to fight. So when he
yeah,
snuck him one, everybody was like, "Oh, it's about to go down." And
yeah.
then for them to just honestly just go at it. And then my highlight, even though they had literally beaten the tar out of themselves to this point, was when all of a sudden CM Punk decides he's gonna be John Cena for a couple seconds and make everybody mad when he put that hand up in there, like, "Oh, really? That's what we're gonna do today?" So it's like even more of like, "Yeah, I can even pull this move on you, and you still ain't good enough to beat me yet." So
John Cena,
yeah,
but with a twist. He flipped him
right,
off instead of
right.
you
But
can't
they
see
flip each
me.
other
He
off
hit
at the
him.
same time.
Yeah, and yes, there was a lot of flipping off in this match. There's a lot of
Yeah,
FUs that was said.
and it looked like
Over
Eddie
here,
lost
boy.
all his energy during the match too. Like it just went away.
Yeah, yeah, but then he fired up at the end or whatnot with some of them hits and strikes to each other and such. So,
Hmm.
over here, boy, you got anything to add to this match?
No, I mean
Oh,
what you said at the beginning of it. I'm serious. He hit him with that like just a erratic back fist, and like he wasn't, and he sold it. Whether he actually dropped him, I mean, because it was
yeah,
stiff. Whether he
Mm.
dropped him or not, or but he dropped. But the only thing I was saying is that like Eddie Kingston is that one dude that like in your neighborhood that you're like, okay, this dude right here, like that he's not intimidating at all, other than he can run his mouth, but he also can get in there and hurt you pretty bad.
yeah,
You ain't
So
paying attention.
this to coin the phrase from our good man JR, this match legit slobber knocker, dude. Like they
yes.
went in, they were hardcore, straight hard punches, straight hard strikes, straight everything, and I was just like, that's what I needed this match to be. But
I just have
I ain't gonna lie. I do
what's
need
up.
Eddie Kingston to start winning something because like
I,
he can't be the guy that
Right.
takes the L every time.
you
Just
read
saying.
my mind over here, boy, because I was just gonna ask both of you. I was gonna say, did the right person win this match? That's what I was gonna ask you guys. You read my mind.
And not only that, the fact that he had to take two go to sleeps. Like, what was the point? Like, was the point that you just had to prove that you really don't like him and you just had to make him deal with it, or
No,
was it the other way around?
the point was that Eddie Kingston is so freaking tough and stubborn that it took two go to sleeps to make sure that he stayed down for the pin. I mean, just so that it keeps him a little protected. The man can't be a heel. Like he's got to be a babyface for all this. You put all of this out all at once. The man's gonna be, and I think it was Over Here Boy who said it was comparable to how Stone Cold was for WWE. Like he was just this badass dude, the anti-authoritarian, anti-authority figure that the crowd could relate to because everybody wanted to whoop their boss's ass at some extent. And
Hmm.
like Eddie Kingston is this guy, like you said, he's the guy that doesn't look impressive, but will whoop your butt in a heartbeat if you said something cross to him. Everyone has that one person that they can relate to in their neighborhood. He's cool in the mud, but you don't want to cross him because he'll stomp you out real quick. So you know,
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's just
but
he got to finally cross that bridge and to like that Miro territory where he's no longer just taking constant L's. He's actually going up, not down, because
and I think
he's
go ahead.
ready. It's just I think they're trying so
He,
hard to push all these other people first.
yeah, but the same thing going back to what Yellow was saying is that I mean, he has that aesthetic for him going like what was it? It might even been CM Punk. Who said that they were the voice of the voiceless? Who was that gimmick? Do
Yeah,
you?
CM
CM
Punk.
Punk.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's Eddie Kingston, dude. Eddie
Hmm.
Kingston is the voice of the everyday man, the people that won't stand up and say it because he says it. Like you come with him. I mean, even like I go back to my favorite thing ever, Miro. He said you can. What was it? He said. Okay, I already forgot what Eddie Kingston said on that. So you can, yeah, he said you can redeem these nuts. That's what he said. Remember that? Who
I'm the
says that?
redeemer. Redeem these nuts.
That's what it is. Redeem these nuts. That's the thing. He says stuff that people always say. Well, I said such and such, and then it was like that Key and Peele. Did you really say that? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? No, Eddie Kingston says that, and it hits, man. Like I want to see more from him, but I hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Like
Don't mind. I'm just gonna go quickly over the inner circle versus
Yeah, because
American
they could
top
have
team
kept that shit.
match.
Except for Junior Dos
Again,
Santos. I like that guy.
J- JDS, the real life Sagat from Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, in all his full Sagat glory with tiger uppercuts and tiger knees. But yes, this was the inner circle versus the American top team, the Minnesota or Minneapolis street fight, where everything was legal. Every pay-per-view seemingly has to have Chris Jericho and the inner circle do some zany no DQ type stuff. I mean, whether it be the stadium stampede or the what was it, the cage match that they did, it's got to be something.
Hmm.
So obviously it's Chris Jericho. um I'll just throw out some things that was out here. I think that Junior Dos Santos and Arslowski, I think they were being heavily protected, seeing
Hmm.
as that they're MMA, UFC fighters, not necessarily trained in professional wrestling, but they have the buildings of it and such like that. So they were being heavily protected, including not being on camera. They were not in shot for a lot of the action that was going on. They were being tossed around. There was table spots. There was spots with Jake Hager with a toaster nailing people in the head. You had a spot with Chris Jericho pulling out a Prince sign, that the emblem that the artist known as Prince was artist formerly known as Prince, with the um with the inner circle logo on it. He, hit uh what's my man name? Lambert. Yeah, I couldn't think of Dan Lambert's name. He hit Dan Lambert with it.
bitch made.
That guy. There was a purple
Wear that blue
stapler.
velvet.
There was a purple stapler. Ah, there was a claw given by Baron to Ethan Page.
Oh, Baron Van Raschke.
Yeah, man, gave it a claw straight to the face for Ethan Page. Um, uh, Sammy jumped off of a freaking ladder looking like uh, Jeff Hardy onto
Right.
Scorpio Sky. I think Hogs Wars, you said that Scorpio Sky took a bunch of the hits on this match or
All
whatnot.
the L's. All the L's.
They did have all the L. I mean, I don't even necessarily remember what was the finish. I can't remember what the finish was.
Remember when Chris Jericho did the
Buddy.
little Eddie thing and then did the
He. That's
little
it.
frog splash?
Remember?
Uh,
So, like, I even said that the
right.
whole time, man. What was up with the Eddie thing? Oh, I think it was the anniversary of his death or whatnot.
Yeah, November
Everybody gave
13th,
Eddie love.
2005. I'll bring it
Chris
back because I
Jericho
said
love.
I was going to talk about it, but I think we all talked about it too while we were watching the match. I think that Proud and Powerful, the old LAX, I think that they need to go ahead and be more in the tag team scene than be in the inner circle. I think it's just took its course. It's done what it needed to do for them. They need to be in that tag team hunt for the tag team titles and seriously be for it and go after it and get the belts. I think a feud with them and the Lucha Brothers would be outstanding. A legit feud with them and the
Hmm.
Lucha Brothers would be outstanding. Get them in the program. Get them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And the other
Right.
big thing that happened into this was the announcement Tony Schiavone gave for new AEW performer Jay Lethal, Black Machismo. Jay Lethal
Boom.
is now all elite, and his first order of business was to call out Sammy Guevara for for the TNT Championship, which brought out Sammy Guevara to accept. So for Wednesday, it will be a TNT Championship match with Jay Lethal versus Sammy Guevara. So looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing that.
It's going to be
Oh
the
yeah.
TNT Championship. Going to go on Dynamite coming on Wednesday. Yeah. If you don't understand that, it's going to be Sammy Guevara and against Jay Lethal. And if you don't understand that, then you can't understand this. All right, having said that, we back.
Couldn't have said it back. Couldn't
I
have
don't
said
know
it
how.
better
Whew.
myself. All right, now we done finally made it. We're gonna wrap this up with a bow and then get our final thoughts and get the heck up out of here. But
That's
we've
it.
gotten to the or at hold on, let me do it like Mark Henry does on Rampage. Hold on, let me get my face right. Hold on. The time for talk is over. It's time for the main event. Because that's how that boy do that thing every Friday. Give that weird ass grin after he do it. It's time.
Are you
For,
ready?
oh, he don't even do any of that. He just it's time
No, I'm thinking
for
about the dude
the
from UFC.
main event.
You jumping in there? It's time.
It was the Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega featuring Don Callis for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
The cleaner.
The clean there was no cleaning women. There was a horse in the promo, but it
Oh,
was a pre-recorded promo package for Hangman. So there was no actual horse that came out to the ring. As reported by some folks, because some folks took a picture of it. They seen him walking around on the horse downtown Minneapolis. So
it's
they
cold
knew it
over
was
there.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it start I think this is like a thing with a lot of Kenny Omega matches. It starts out kind of slow and calculating, and then it builds. And when it builds, it's like it's nonstop. Once it hits and they get to a
Mhm.
certain point in the match, and the pacing starts to get more frenetic, and they just go extremely hog wild. No offense, hog wars. They go hog
Hey, we
wild.
won. I don't give a damn.
This is true. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I liked in this match, including the springboard Liger bomb that Kenny Omega pulled off. Holy shiznit. Like the stuff that he can do and the stuff that he can do with Hangman Adam Page. Um
Mhm.
and I mean the other thing that I wrote down in the notes was that I wrote down ref took huge lariat bump. That's what I wrote on my notes.
Yeah, he did too. He took it.
I mean, he took every bit of that buckshot lariat and like sold the hell out of it. But kind of want to get so over here, boy. Thoughts on the match?
Tremendous. Going back to what you said, man, like Omega has like this ability to start the match off slow, and that's a nod to the Japanese style. That by the time you get invested into the third quarter, to the fourth quarter of the segment, It's
Mhm.
tremendous. He come off the top rope at that one point. You're talking about that power bomb, and like he even slipped his grip a little bit. Before, well, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a botch," but it didn't end up being. And the amount of V triggers he hit, I mean, some of them were just nasty, dude, out of nowhere. I know Hogs Wars didn't get to see some of that stuff because he had a lull in what was happening. But dude, some of these V triggers that hit were just gross. Hangman Page even teased hitting his own V trigger, and then that's kind of like when the pace of the match picked up for the finale of it.
Yeah.
But Don Callis came out there, and he, you know how he does. He teased a little bit of a belt clap on Adam Page after Page, going back to what Yellow Boy is saying, he accidentally hit a buckshot on the ref
Mhm.
because Omega pulled the ref over in front of him. During that whole time, he did that. He's going to get clapped by the belt, and he turned around and checked Don Callis. Of course, Don Callis did the chicken shit heel thing that he does. He's like, "Oh man, I wasn't going to really do it." Then after that, one winged angel still the most protected move ever because the only person can kick out of it is Kenny Omega. And yeah, that's right, you heard that because Hangman Page tried to put it on him and
'Cause
failed because he kicked out of that boy.
I had
But
asked y'all about it
oh,
while we were going through the match, and I said, "Do we think that Adam Hangman Page is gonna kick out of the One Wing Angel?" And I think both of y'all were like, "No, I think it's more of a protected move." But like you just said over here, boy, who better to kick out? Like, there's only been one person to kick out of the One Wing Angel, but who else better to kick out of it? If it's not going to be Kota Ibushi, then it's got to be the man who performs the maneuver itself,
yo.
Kenny Omega, to kick out of it. So it just makes sense to have him kick out of it and not Hangman Page.
But to put a bow on my little part of what we were talking about, like both guys hit all of their signatures throughout the match. I mean, we even got to see the Terminator die from Omega, and you don't get to see that much. At least where he doesn't prop up to it, do 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 do, and then every time. Every time he does the part in the ring where he's fixing to dive out, something always has happened to him where he gets kicked or
Hmm.
whatever. He completed it. He did land kind of weird though at first. I was like, oh my god, he kind of landed at his feet at an angle on the guardrail on the outside. But I mean, he was okay because obviously they were able to finish the match. And I'm not going to go into the ending of it because I'm going to save that for one of you guys, and then we can see how that is.
So as the chicken shit heel, Don Callis is extinguished on the apron by Hangman Page. You have an appearance that I told you was not going to be the only time that you would see them. The Young Bucks come down to ringside to check out what's going to happen. We don't know what role they're going to play in this. We don't know because the referee's knocked out. Obviously, another ref came out. Aubrey Edwards came out to take up for the downed ref or whatnot. But um, we don't know what role that the Young Bucks at this point was going to play. And there was a moment where Adam Page was on the apron about to hit a buckshot lariat to the back of Kenny Omega, and Nick Jackson is standing right beside Adam Page. Doesn't do anything. He hits a buckshot lariat to the back of Kenny Omega, goes to the other side of the ring, and Matt Jackson standing outside looking up at Hangman Page. Hangman Page looks down at Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson gives him a look and an approving nod to do what he needs to do to finish off Kenny Omega. I don't know what it means, but he gave him an approving nod because if we flash back, Hangman Page actually went to the Young Bucks and apologized for his actions the previous year, costing them the tag team championships. He apologized for his actions, you know, being disgruntled, a disgruntled member of the elite and leaving and such like that, and talked to them and, but told him that he was going to become the next AEW champion. And with that nod, Adam Page hits a buckshot lariat to the front of Kenny Omega and hits him for the 1, 2, 3, and you have a new AEW world heavyweight champion in Adam Hangman Page. But what does this mean for the elite, the super elite, the super clique? Like, I don't
Mhm.
know. But if we were to do this on, let's say 1 out of 5, 5 being top score, 1 being lowest score, Hogs Wars, what would you give this show on the shot slash chug? We're still working on this. This shot or chug.
I say 3.5 shots or 2.5 beers if you're lucky. But
Two and a half beers, 3.5 shots.
but no, no, I say it's definitely a 3.5 because
Over here, boy.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with Hogs Wars on this one. I give it a 3.5, man. But really,
I
and if you,
can't disagree with neither either one of you. So I mean, if we're doing chugging beer, 3.5 beers. If we're doing shots, 3.5 shots out of 5 shots. Um, doesn't mean that it's bad.
I don't know if we're gonna share some socials, but I'm gonna do it this time. So if this is not the segment, I can hold off on it. But if you want me to go ahead and get that out the way, I can do it now. It don't matter.
Do it now.
Do it now. So you can get me on the socials
getting the
at the
job out.
at the Instagrams, at the Twits, at Over Here Boy on both platforms, and then also on Untapped. If you guys drink beer, that's a platform you can go in and check in beers, rate them, tell how you feel about them. I'm also there at Over Here Boy, and if you play video games, I'm on Xbox Live at Over Here Boy because you know what? I don't care. Over Here Boy for life.
Boom. Boy, life.
But no, my all my socials are pretty much the same socials everybody else has because it's gonna be the bros on all those lovely platforms. I'm one of those people that's still kind of standoffish, but heck, I got a
Cool.
YouTube channel named Hog Wars, and I don't even put videos on there. So hey, one day it'll get.
One
but
day.
but no, want everybody to be blessed. I know we've said some extracurricular words on this Twitch stream, but no, seriously, if you got people out there, you call yourself loving, give them their flowers while they're here. Don't wait until they're gone. And most importantly, whatever you find passionate and you love to do, go do it. Quit making excuses. Quit saying, "Oh, I got time." You they never had the time, and you may never have the time to do a goddamn thing. But if you make time for what you love, you're not gonna care. And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably make more money that way. But you know,
Boom. Boom. Well, if you're watching live, this has been a late one. The show lasted a little bit longer than what we thought it would be. If you're watching this on catch up, make sure that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms. Like over there, you may see like hold on, let me make sure that I'm pointing correctly. It's over in this general vicinity where you have the Instagram, our Instagram. Well, that Instagram's kind of wrong, but our Instagram is bros underscore brews underscore and underscore botches on Instagram. You can find us here because you're already here right now with Twitch, Bros, Brews, and Botches. And also subscribe to our YouTube page, Bros, Brews, and Botches, where this video will be uploaded. If you're watching it from Twitch, it will be uploaded up on there. If you love WWE, love WWE. If you love AEW, love AEW. It's not got to be one or the other. Just love wrestling. I love wrestling. My bros love wrestling. We just wanted to see it thrive. And if you like one better than the other, that's fine. You don't have to cause fights and arguments and all kinds of other stuff with it. So, um, with that being said, next weekend, not sure what we're going to do, but next weekend, if you don't know, next weekend is Survivor Series. Who knows what's going to be on that show because they pulled names out for the WWE for the different teams for SmackDown and Raw, and then they changed them up on the show this past week, and they probably will change them up again this coming week. So who knows what's going to happen on the show? Whatever. The bros will talk about it when we talk about it. Other than that, if you want to follow my socials, I'm on Twitter. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Badass, and that's BADAZZ_Yellowboy YELLABOI. You can catch me on there on Twitter, or you can catch me at the Bros Brews and Botches, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all that. Whew, that was a lot, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see y'all next time. We'll holla.
Peace.